Assalamu alaikum. In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. This is virtual class of Pakistan International School Thai. I am Muhammad Yasin. This class is for the students of grade 10. This is our 15th video in this class. We are going to do chapter 8 today. After today's lesson, we shall be able to write an essay, Village Life. We shall be able to understand the poem given in Unit 8. We shall be able to understand the correct meaning and correct pronunciation of new words. We shall do exercises of this chapter also. And we shall try to understand direct, indirect in question form. If there are questions, how to change direct narration into indirect narration. We shall do that also. Let us start from the essay first of all, that is Village Life. In our last class we did city life, life in a big city. This is life in village. Village life is most of the time remarkably quiet. A village is made up of farmhouses, mud houses, uneven dirt lanes and ponds. There are dung hills, heaps of rubbish and rows of dung cakes. Dung cakes, dear students, dung hills, dung cakes, that is made by animal waste and they are used to burn, to cook food. Inside the village there is practically no vehicular traffic. Occasionally there is a whirring tractor or squeaking bullock cart in some of the outer lanes. Dear students, this is the imagery of a very old village. In fact, in these days villages are much advanced than which are mentioned here. You can say the village mentioned here in this essay is too old. In some of the big courtyards, there are clusters of shady trees. Outside the village, there is usually a big banyan tree. Along the pond, village folks and some of their cattle take rest under its ample shade in summer. The minarets of the village mosque rise high above the low skyline of a village. The azan is the welcome familiar sound in the quiet village 5 times a day. There are cattle and cart sheds, dark and ill-smelling, where cows and buffaloes are kept. There are a couple of stables for horses and a few poultry houses. The chickens, ducks and geese are free to run about in the open space as they please. When all the birds and animals make their cries, the village is a somewhat noisy place for a while. The donkeys bray, the cocks crow, the hens cackle and cluck, the ducks in dirty drains quack, the horses neigh, the bulls bellow, the cows low. Dear students, these are the sounds of all these different animals. The dogs bark and growl, the cats meow, and the owls screech at night. The tough farmer plows his fields in the morning. The harvest time is very busy. Men, women, and children work together at seed and harvest time. Seed time is when they grow crops. Harvest, when they harvest the crop, bring it at home. A hard life indeed. The village folks are really the backbone of our country. They are stout of hearts and strong of limbs. This is about their health. They are so healthy. They face harsh conditions in villages and around, but they seldom complain. As compared with big city, they seem to have stepped back into another century. Yes, students, they are backward areas, not so developed. You can mention in this essay there are not advanced facilities of life like hospitals, big schools, universities, colleges, streets, transportation. All is lacking in a village life, in fact. You can add in this essay so many things as you like to write your own essay. Yes, students. Now come to direct indirect. I want to review very shortly the rules which we have learned before. When we want to change direct narration into indirect, present indefinite become past indefinite, present continuous become past continuous, present perfect become past perfect. It is very important to learn it, to do these exercises. Past indefinite, past perfect. Shall, will change into would, should. Dear students, this is the new thing that we are going to do today. After learning those 5 rules, we shall do this one. What is this? Sometimes we find questions in the direct narration. Here are 2 rules in reporting questions. Beginning with helping verb, we place whether. We use whether if there is question, or we use if also after the object of the reporting verb. Or if the answer to the question is yes or no, we use whether or if. We use whether or if after the object of the reporting verb. Reporting verb is the first part of the sentence. This is called reporting verb. This is called reported. This is reporting part. This is verb. Okay, second rule is if reporting part is beginning with an interrogative word like what and why, we do not use any conjunction. However, the reporting verb is changed to asked, inquired, requested. We shall understand it in the examples. If you look here at the example, he said, will you listen to me? He asked me whether I would listen to him. This is directly related to this one. The first rule which says if after reporting speech there is helping verb. You can see here will is helping verb. How do we change it into indirect narration? We use whether or if. We have used here whether. Let us look at more examples. This first one is that we have discussed. After this, she said, are you going to Lahore today? She asked me whether I was. We shall add whether. Instead of are you, you will change into I. She asked me whether I was going to Lahore that day. He said, do you agree with me? He asked me whether I agreed with him. We can write here if I agreed with him also. And dear students, this rule we have done before. This you will change into I, because this you is the reporting person, is the first person. That is why it will change into I. Some more examples are here. He said to me, "What are you looking for?" He asked me what I was looking for. Again, this you will change into I. What will remain the same? We shall not change it. She said, "Where do you live?" She inquired of them where they lived. Here you can say, she asked where they lived. That will be correct also. In fact, we shall say the same thing by using our own words in indirect narration. He said, "How many chapters have you done already?" He inquired of him how many chapters he had done by that time. You can write he inquired only also, that will be correct. He inquired how many chapters he had done by that time. He inquired of him is correct also. How many chapters have you? This him is coming from this you. How many chapters have you done already? He said. You can take it as first person also. He inquired of me how many chapters I had done by that time. You can change it in this way also. Here if we say he said, "How many chapters have you done already?" This you can be used as second person here and as first person here also. If we consider he is asking me, then this he will become I. He inquired of me, then this him will become me also. But if we take this you as second person, what does it mean? If someone is asking someone other, not me. He said, "How many chapters have you done?" He can be asking here to someone other. He can be asking to me also. You can consider any one of these two cases. If you consider he is asking someone other, then answer will be the given. If you consider he is asking me, then you will write he inquired of me how many chapters I had done by that time. Both will be correct. Dear students, these are the rules to deal with the questions given in direct form. I would like you review these rules along with the previous ones. Then we shall make practice of all these rules in our next lesson. Now we shall start next lesson from our textbook, that is poem. The name of the lesson, the name of the poem is Peace. It looks like this. This is the top of the first page of this poem. Let us move forward. First of all, I would like to show you some new words. Smash, for example, we shall pronounce it smash. Smash is a verb. It means to break into a lot of pieces or to make something do this with a loud noise. Rake can be used as noun and as a verb also. When rake is a noun, it means a tool like this. This is rake. And rake is used as verb also. When it is used as verb, it means to search in a container by moving the contents around quickly. It means to level also. It means to level. Vale is used in the name of some valleys. Vale means valley. Eternal means something that is lasting forever or for a very long time. Dear students, this is the poem. We shall read and try to understand. The question to read this stanza is, with what the wind is compared. We shall read this stanza and try to find out with what is wind compared. The wind is now a roaring and smashing monster of destruction. Roaring is noisy, smashing, breaking, monster of destruction. Monster is something very huge. Wrecking all man's work means destroying all man's work. From the valleys, from the vales, both are valleys, and sends them spinning. Broken flying, what does it mean? Wind break the things, and you might have seen when wind is blowing, especially in round shaped, you will find some sort of wind rising up. It spins the things, it throw the things, fly the things. This is the situation discussed here. With what the wind is compared? Wind is compared here with monster of destruction. In fact, this will be the answer. The situation, I think you have understood. The wind is when it is hard, it is roaring, smashing, destroying, breaking from the valleys. It send things up, it fly the things. This is the scene discussed in this part of the poem. Second part of the poem is but all of that is not its core. This is not the exact purpose of this wind. Its center is the truth. That is something other which is purpose. Eternal stillness, bright blue skies, and all you hear are gentle whispers far away and unimportant. Dear students, in fact, here is mentioned when wind blows hard, just after that, what appears, that is the truth of that wind. In fact, wind is just for a while, just for a few minutes or hours. After that, there is stillness, and that stillness is long lasting when sky becomes blue and we can hear gentle whispers far away. This is the exact truth of that wind. Its center, explain its center is in truth. What does it mean? It means smashing and roaring is not the actual thing, is not the reality of wind. In fact, the real thing is that we see after the wind. That is the truth, and that is stillness when blue skies appear and we hear whispers. That is the reality of the wind. This poem is written by Dr. Hartman. Yes, students, let us move forward. After this is the theme. Let us read and try to find out what the writer wants to say. Nature teaches us lessons through wind, water, mountain, and light. Wind in the form of storms smashes everything. In its rage, it destroys trees, fields, and buildings. But when the wind is gentle and cool, it gives lives to birds and humans. We have to experience storms to enjoy peace. This last sentence is the exact theme of this poem. What the writer wants to say is we have to face hardships to get peace. That is the main theme of this poem. These are the two questions. I have written their answers here. These two questions are given inside the text of the poem. With what the wind is compared? The wind is compared with the monster of destruction. Explain its center is in truth. What does it mean? The main object of the wind is not destruction. Its main object is truth, to give lives to birds and humans. These two questions are answered here. After this, there is exercise. We are set to pick out words from the poem which mean the same as the following. Extremely noisy. What is the word used in the poem? That is roaring. We shall do this exercise. For extremely noisy, what is used? Roaring. To be broken violently, smashing. To make something level, raking. To make something turn rapidly, spinning. Lasting or existing forever, eternal. To speak or say something quietly, whisper. These are the synonyms or the words having same meaning as they are given. In this exercise, we are said give synonyms for each of the following words. Again, the same type. Roaring means noisy, boisterous, booming, crashing, deafening, ringing. You can use one or two of these. Prepare them, learn them. Smashing is cracking, crashing, crushing. Spinning is rotating, reeling, revolving, twisting. Stillness is calmness, motionless. Tranquility, serenity. Core is center, basis, bottom line. These are to remember, to memorize. Exercise C is which word in each pair below has the more positive connotation. To use, circle your answer. Which gives more positive meaning. For example, here is written thrifty, here is written penny pinching. Thrifty is giving more positive meaning. Penny pinching is negative. Pushy, aggressive. Aggressive is more positive. Politician, statesman. Statesman is better, giving good meaning, positive meaning. Chef is positive than cook. Slender is positive than skinny. In this exercise, choose the appropriate connotation. Which would you rather be called, thrifty or cheap? Thrifty is better than cheap. Which is more serious, problem or disaster? Disaster is more serious. Which is more polite, sip of drink or gulp it? Sip of drink is more polite. Which would you be if you hadn't eaten for several days? Would you be hungry or starving? You will be starving, not hungry. Hungry will be after a few hours. But after several days you will be starving. Which would you be after a walk in the mud? Filthy or dirty? Dirty. Yes, students, in this exercise we are said to explain the meaning, explain the following idioms and find their Urdu equivalents. It is no use crying over spilt milk. Its Urdu meaning is अब पछताए क्या होत जब चिड़ियां चुग गईं खेत. Do not dear students, I think you understand the meaning of this. It means इसका मतलब है कि जब कोई नुकसान हो जाए तो पछताने की बजाय अपने काम पर ध्यान देना चाहिए. अफसोस करने से कोई फायदा नहीं होता, जो होना था वो हो चुका. Do not put off till tomorrow what you can do today. It means आज का काम कल पर मत छोड़ो, जो काम आप आज कर सकते हो वो आज ही कर लेना चाहिए. Out of the frying pan into the fire. It means आसमान से गिरा खजूर में अटका. इसका मतलब है कि किसी छोटी मुसीबत से बंदा निकला और किसी बड़ी मुसीबत में फंस गया. आउट ऑफ साइट, आउट ऑफ माइंड. आंख ओझल, पहाड़ ओझल. जो चीज आपके सामने नहीं है वो पहाड़ के पीछे है या आपके करीब है, इससे कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता. जिस चीज को आप देख नहीं सकते, आपके पास नहीं है, वो बहुत दूर हो या करीब हो, it does not matter. Means you cannot see that, you don't have that. As you sow, so shall you reap. जैसा करोगे वैसा भरोगे. इसका मतलब है कि अगर आप दूसरों के साथ अच्छा करेंगे तो दूसरे भी आपके साथ अच्छा करेंगे. This is reading comprehension. There are question answers. We are set to answer the questions. First question is, how is wind described in the first stanza? The wind is described as a master of destruction. It is roaring, smashing and raking all man's work. It breaks everything, whatever comes in its way, and throws it out, spinning, broken and flying. Question number 2 is, with what wind is compared in the first stanza? Wind is compared with master of destruction. What is the wind doing to all man's work? The wind is raking all man's work. What does it mean? Destroying all man's work. How does the scene look like when the wind is still? When the wind is still, this stillness seems eternal. The sky is blue and bright. We hear whispers. It is enjoyable for all living beings, and it gives lives to birds and humans. What comparison is made in the second stanza? In the second stanza, the stillness of wind is compared with the sound like gentle whispers. Dear students, this is exercise B. In this exercise, we are asked which imagery has the poet used in this poem. Give examples. I have written here some examples. You can find others also. For example, I have mentioned here wind as roaring and smashing agent. It is used. Wind is used as monster of destruction. Wind as a raking tool. Vales and valleys. Images of vales and valleys are used. Image of wind as spinning, breaking and flying force is used. Image of wind as stillness. Image of wind as bright blue skies is used. Image of gentle whispers is used in this poem. This is the grammar part. In first exercise, we are set to identify demonstrative, reflexive, interrogative pronouns in the following sentences. Hand me that hammer. Dear students, demonstrative pronouns are this, that, these, those. They are used to point out things. Reflexive pronouns are which reflect back the action. Interrogative are which are used to make questions. Myself is reflexive. Who is interrogative? Himself reflective. This is demonstrative, which is interrogative pronoun. I think you have got some idea of this. Let us move forward. Choose appropriate participles. For example, here the movie was really interested or interesting. This is past participle. This is present participle. Was really interesting. I bought. It was a good lecture, but I wasn't very interested. It will be done like this. For example, here it is done. The movie was really interesting. Here will be interesting. Our town is so boring. Are you bored? Have you heard her laugh? It is so annoying. I am really annoyed. The city was damaged. The information was quite damaging. This treatment is really great. It makes me feel so relaxed. I thought it was too depressing. Yes, students, in your homework you will learn and write the essay Life in a Big City. That is important to prepare it for the examination. You read it 2, 3, 4 times, then write it without looking from anywhere other. After that you will do the exercises of chapter 8 that we have done today. And very important it is to revise the rules of changing direct narration to indirect narration. There were 5 rules that we discussed in our previous lesson. There are more rules to change questions into indirect narration. Revise them also, then we shall do exercise related to questions in our next lesson. Dear students, that is all from our today's lesson. See you later in our new lesson. Goodbye.